Good morning.
Morning, Professor.
We'll wait a couple minutes see other people log in. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get started. I hope you guys had a great spring break. I went to Shaver Lake. I did something at least. So it was good to have a break. It was really good to have a break. I hope you guys take benefited greatly from it. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to talk about web typography, how to use fonts the right way on websites. And then we're going to do an exercise just to refresh your skills and using Flexbox and making like a navigation bar, stuff like that. So let me go ahead and share screen. And what am I doing here? Okay, so fonts on the web. Maybe you discovered it, maybe I've told you, I can't remember if I've said this in the class, but one of the issues with web design is that when you're using fonts, you can use fonts that are on your computer. But if another person is viewing that page on a laptop or another device that doesn't have that font is not going to appear properly. And so this is a big problem because that limits us to what we call system fonts, the fonts that just come with the operating system of a Mac or a PC. So you're limited to like Arial, Courier, Georgia, Verdana, and designers don't like that. We don't like to be limited in that way. We want lots of really fun, really beautiful fonts to work with. And the problem is you can't just embed the font into the web page and send it over, because then you have copyright issues, right? Someone can take that font file and use it for their own or redistribute it or something like that. And they may not have the copyright to it. So how do we fix that? Well, used to be like if you wanted to use a font that wasn't a system font, you would have to actually make it into an image and in Photoshop or Illustrator and show it as an image, which is not ideal. We don't want to do that because we want the text to be readable by search engines. So it's just not ideal that way. So they invented this thing called web fonts. And so what web fonts are is it's like a service or a platform that there's servers that contain the font files in a limited format, and they have all different fonts you can use, and you basically link to their servers, and they sent the font files back to you. And two of the main ones that we're going to look at are, I put links in here, Google Fonts and Adobe Fonts. Those are sort of the main two that we use. So let me demonstrate how we would do this. I'm going to start a code pin here. And put a headline. Okay. And down here, make it a little bit bigger. Okay. So I want to use a different font for this. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the Google Fonts page. I'm just going to search for, it's fonts.google.com or something like that. Google Fonts, fonts.google.com. And here you have tons of fonts to choose from. And it's kind of like you're shopping for fonts. There are sort of filters that you can use to, you can say, I want a serif font. I only want a serif font, or I only want to see display fonts. You know, so I'm just going to look for display fonts and font properties. I want to make sure they have at least 15 or number of styles means how big the family is, the number of fonts that associated with that font face, that typeface. So then you just kind of go shopping, you know, you look for something you like, and you see something interesting, then you can go in and view it and view all the different glyphs and fonts in the family. And down here, you can see what it looks like paired with other fonts. So this is what it would look like if you used Oswald as the body copy. And then you can switch that, something like that. So you can experiment with this here. You can change the text here to whatever you want, and just have fun with it. Now, one thing you can do is you can download this download this to use on your own computer, and you'll get, I don't know if it's an OTF or a TTF file, but you can do that, so you can design with it, like do your mockups with it, and then, but in order to use it on the web, we're going to have to do something different. So I'm going to hit over here, select the style, and I get this sort of shopping cart thing that opens up over here. And actually, and you can select more than one. So I'm actually going to go back and oh, it still has my preview text. I want to choose something that has more than one style. So I'm going to go over here and also grab this one here, Landrina. And so in this case, I want to grab all of these. Okay. Where's my little, They just changed this. It used to come from the bottom. Now it's coming out from the side. How do I view your selected families? Oh, okay, there it is. There's a button up here. So I've got Lodrina Solid, and I've got Thin, which is 100, Light, which is 300, 400, 900. That's the font weights that you'll be using. Okay, so these are the fonts that I have, and here is the code that we're going to need to use this on our webpage. So there's two ways to do this. There's a link right here that we're going to need to paste. I mean, not a link, some code right here that we're going to need to paste into our web page. And you can paste it either into the HTML, or you can paste it into the CSS. I prefer to paste it into the CSS because you're going to be using one style sheet for many different pages. It's easier, right, to just do it in one location rather than making sure that you have that link on every single page. So instead of this link option here, you're going to want to choose import, at import. And that gives you the CSS that you're going to need. And then you're going to want to ignore these style tags here. That's HTML. I'm not sure why they put those there. It's kind of annoying. Basically, you want everything from the @ all the way down to the semicolon, all that right there. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go back over to my CSS here. I'm going to type it at the very top, the first thing in there, because you want to load the font before you actually use it. So now, and you can, if you look at this URL, you can kind of make out what's going on. Family equals Lodrina Solid, and then the different weights, 100, 300, 400, 900. Then family equals Special Elite. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and use one of these. I'm going to say font family, and I've got to put it in quotes because the name of it has two different words. So Lodrina Solid. There we go. And then to use one of the different weights, I would just say font weight, let's say 300. Great. And then if it had italics with it as well, but this one didn't come with italics, so I would just type in font style italic. So 900 is the really thick one right there. So that's how you would do that. And then, but one thing you want to keep track of is if you have a typeface that has, let's say 12 different fonts in the family, and you choose all of them, the more you choose, the more it's going to, the more time it's going to take to load up that page. So, you can choose as many as you want to get started when you're designing, because you're not sure which ones you're going to use. But when you're done, go in and delete the ones that you're not using, so that your page doesn't take so long to load. Any questions? Okay. So that's, oh, there we go. Okay, so that's how you use Google Fonts. Now let's go back and let's take a look at how you would use Adobe Fonts. It's a little bit different. So I'm going to get rid of this. And I'm going to go to, oops. Fonts. Here we go. And you'll have to obviously have an account with Adobe, which I'm assuming you all do. Okay. So you can browse through, they have different categories you can play with. You can browse through here, or you can search for the one you want up here. So let's say I want to use, and the nice thing about Adobe Fonts is they have some of the big hitters, the heavily copyrighted ones like Futura and Gilson's. So this is where you want to come to use those. Let's see, let's say I want to use, what do we like here? Let's use this one, Etna. Okay, view family. Okay, so this is where you would also come in. Maybe you've done this before. If you want to activate fonts for your Illustrator or Photoshop, you would come here and you would activate those fonts. We're going to do it a little bit differently. So I'm going to, and there is all the fonts in the family. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to click on something called Add to Web Project. Okay, now I have to sign in. Okay, so add fonts to a web project. I have a bunch of web projects already here, but I want to create a new one. So I'm going to say create new project. I'm just going to name, you can name this, you know, I'm going to be using this on my fan site. So I'm going to be naming it fan site because I might have more than one font. So I'm going to say fan site is my web project. Oh, fan site 2. And I can look down here and I can see that it selected all of the fonts and not all of them. So it's got 6. Okay, that's fine. I'm gonna say create. And here we go. Here's the same thing as we saw on Google Fonts. Here's the link that we'll paste in. And we want the @import link. Remember, this is for the HTML, @import is for the CSS. And again, ignore those style tags there. We just want this line right here. I'm going to say copy over to my CSS, paste that in. Okay, now the next step is different from Adobe, is that it has down here are instructions on what you need to call the font and how do you how you get the different weights. So regular is 400, bold italic is 700 with a font style of italic, et cetera, et cetera. So basically, this is the code you'll need to either copy and paste or type in into your CSS. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab bold italic, copy there. There we go. So yeah, that's weird. It says sans serif. This is definitely a serif typeface, but it says sans serif there. That's weird. That might be just a little error. Any questions? Okay, the nice thing about the Adobe fonts is that once you've created a project, you can go back and edit that project and add new fonts to it, and you don't have to change the link. So it's just a different way of doing it. So that's web typography. I put a, there's a video I'd like you to watch. I put a link to up here on web typography by Jason Santamaria. So this is a talk he gave at a conference, and he knows a lot about typography. So it applies not just to web typography, but to typography in general. So it's really good. He talks about typefaces that are designed to specifically for the screen and not for print. And that's a very important concept as well. So, okay, any questions about that? All right, let's do this exercise. Go ahead and go into Canvas, and it's kind of an in-class assignment kind of thing. But you'll just be doing this in CodePen. You don't have to upload to the server. So go in here, and just like before, I've given you a screenshot, and I want you to replicate the screenshot and starting with this CodePen right here. And there's some CSS that you can ignore. It just colors. Oh no, this down here, you can just ignore all of that code and just add your code on top of it. And so you're going to be using Flexbox and other CSS properties to turn this into a nav bar up here, and then a little footer down here with the symbols on the right. So let's just review some basics here. Remember, when you want to use Flexbox, the parent-child relationship is really important. So you need to put the display flex property on the parent container, not each individual item. And so if we look at the HTML here, you can see that we have a nav tag, and inside of that nav tag, we've got a UL tag. So one thing to keep in mind is we've got two different UL tags. But let's back up. What is the parent container for these items? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. The parent container for those is the UL tag, the UL elements. So if I wanted to get them to line up, I could say UL, and then I would say display flex box, display flex box, and that gets them to line up. What happened? It just works. You saw that, right? I did everything right. Oh, display flex. Display flex. Okay, there we go. But notice it affected this one down here as well, which I mean, yeah, we do want it to display flex as well. But what's going to happen when we need this one to center and this one to go over to the side? We need to style them separately. So there's a nice trick to this. Notice that this one at the top is inside of a nav tag, and this one down here is inside of a footer tag. We can use something called a Descendant Selector to differentiate between the two. So if I do something like this, I say nav space UL. Notice it only affected the one on top and not the one on the bottom. By putting a space there, what I'm saying is any UL inside of something called inside of a nav tag, apply these styles to that one. But if it's a UL, if it's an unordered list that's not inside of a nav, then don't apply these styles. So again, it's a Descendant Selector. So that's a nice trick. And then also to get rid of the bullet points, you're going to say text declaration none, and then add some spacing around them. Text. Oh no, I'm sorry. That's not it. That's not it. It's list style. There. Now the bullets have gone away. List style none. Yeah. So go ahead and get started on this, and I'll be hanging out here. If you get stuck on anything, just pipe up, and I can take a look at it in CodePen. We can work through it, and don't be shy because you might be a little out of practice with this. If you need to go back and play the Flexbox Froggy game or something like that to review the different properties, go ahead. You might not finish this completely during class, but you have until I think I gave you a couple of days to finish this. So go ahead and get started, and let me know if you need any help. Any questions? Okay. I just put a link in the chat to a guide to Flexbox. It's also a link in Canvas, but you can go through here and it'll refresh your memory on all the different properties, like justify content. You're going to want to use justify content. You're going to want to use align items there, so you can go to this to refresh your memory.
I'll be right back, okay?
I'm just curious, give me a thumbs up if you've finished this. No problem. I didn't think so. I was just checking. Oh, okay, one person. Cool. Then Connie, go ahead and submit the assignment in Canvas. Just paste the URL in there. And yeah, you're free to go. This is all I have for today. So get started on, if you haven't already, get started on coding your fan site. And next week, what we'll do is we'll have open office hours where I can help you with any issues you're having with it. So yeah, have a great day. Bye. I mean, the rest of you stick around. Um, You might be having a bit of an issue with the top one, getting it to center vertically. You probably figure out how to center it horizontally. And let me demonstrate what's going on there. So I'm going to add to this property, this selector right here, and I'm going to say justify content center. And that puts them in the center there, and that's great. But we want it also to be in the center horizontally. And the problem with that is, I can say align, it should be align items center, but nothing happens. And the reason for that is it actually did what I told it to do, but there's something going on. So I'm going to turn on the borders so we can see this. Okay, so you can see here that the container for the word, you know, the selections here, Monday, Tuesday, is only this tall. So it is centered, but it's only this tall. What we need to do is make the container the height of the full green bar, which would be the nav tag, because you can see here nav is got the background of green. So what we can do then is expand the height to height 100%, and there we go. Now it's, you know, it's when you say height 100%, it's going to be 100% of its container. So there we have it there. That's how we get them to center like that. So there's just a little hint that you might have been having trouble with. Anyone having any troubles? Go ahead and speak it if you're stuck on something.
I have a question, Professor.
Mm-hmm.
How do we add spacing between the text?
Oh, there's different ways to do that. What I did is I just added some padding just around each list item. Try that. But you'll have to add it to the LI tags, because if you add it to the UL, it's just going to put spacing around the entire thing. Did that work?
What tag do I put it in? Not the UL, right? The nav UL.
Yeah, exactly. You'd want it to be on the individual items, so the LIs. But you only want it on the top one. So what you would do is you would do the same thing as I did here. I mean, you could add it to the bottom one too, I guess. But if you only want the top one, I would say nav space UL space LI. And then say padding 1M or something like that. And so it only does it to the top, because the spaces says that any LI tag with inside of a UL tag, inside of a nav tag.
Okay.
Got it?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Professor, for this assignment, are we just putting in the URL for our code pen to turn it in?
Yes, that's all you have to do.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Professor, I got it to work. I was able to fix the spacing between the text.
Perfect. Great.
Anyways, yeah, I'm done with the assignment and I just turned it in.
Great. All right. Well, have a good rest of the week, and good luck with the fan site project.
Thank you, Professor.
All
Have a
right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Professor,
Yeah.
I'm trying to align my footer items, but everything I'm trying doesn't seem to be working.
Okay.
I could share my screen so you can
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Let me,
Oh.
Anna, here we go. Okay, go ahead.
Can you see it?
Yes. Okay, so you're trying to align them over to the right, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay. Here's the thing. Justify content up there.
This one?
Yeah, right there. It's
Uh-huh.
not the word right. It would make sense to be right and left, but it's flex end.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's flex start and flex end. And the reason they do that is because not all, yeah, there you go. Not, not everyone reads from left to right. Other cultures read from right to left. So, so that's the reason they do that. So that was it.
So oops. I'm trying to go back to the other one. So it looks like there's spacing for that. I assume I do it the same way it was done for the top.
Yeah, you could use the same method. And you'll have to do the same thing. We're making 100% height to get it to align center.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That was it. Thank you.
Great. You're welcome.
Okay, I think I have mine finished.
Great. Yeah. So now just turn it in and you're good to go.
Awesome. All right. Have a nice day. See you
You
next
too.
time.
See you.
Professor,
Yeah.
I'm having a hard time getting like the top text to go to the center.
Uh-huh. Let's see.
Can I share my screen?
Yeah, sure. Hold on. Let me make you co-host. Okay, go ahead. Oh, center, you mean center vertically, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the a line. If you have a line item insert, that's right. It's actually oh, you have, oh, you know what? You just misspelled height. It's HEI. There you go. Just one tiny little thing, right? Looks like you're done. Great. Looks good.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, just turn it in and you're done. So I'm going to go ahead and end the meeting, and have a great week. I'll see you next
All right,
week.
thank you, Professor. You too.
Bye.